For too long, the spiritual paradigm has centered on the idea of you, the seeker reaching out. You, the small, localized consciousness, desperately striving to observe and collapse the wave of infinite potential into the particle of your desire. You were taught to see yourself as the singular light in a vast, dark field, projecting your intent outwards, trying to force the universe to conform. This was the struggle. This was the friction. This was the ultimate energy drain of the old, obsolete operating manual. But the shift has already occurred. The primary revelation is not about what you are observing. It is about the profound, irreversible reality that you have been observed. This is not a message of paranoia or divine scrutiny. This is the ultimate notification of your power. The core truth of quantum physics, that reality only solidifies into existence when it is observed, is the same principle that proves your inherent sovereignty. You thought the observer effect was your tool to wield against the chaos. But the final, most potent application of the observer effect is realizing that the ultimate observer, the future self, the aligned intelligence, the zero-point consciousness, has been watching you. And in that singular, non-linear gaze, everything changed. Your universe is not a chaotic, indifferent void. It is the perfect, instantaneous reflection of the ultimate observer's gaze. It is a great mirror, and that mirror has just been polished to a blinding, infinite sheen by the total, loving observation of your perfected state. Your future self, operating from the non-local certainty of absolute victory, has cast its consciousness back through the corridor of linear time and looked upon your current moment. And because the observer effect is immediate and absolute, that very act of observation instantly solidifies your current reality, not as the struggling seeker, but as the irrevocably secure sovereign architect. This is why the effort has dissolved. This is why the frantic chase feels hollow. The energy of being lost is incompatible with the energy of being seen. The energy of seeking is instantly rendered obsolete by the profound certainty of being found. You can no longer be lost. You are standing under the powerful, coherent beam of your own ultimate consciousness. You have been seen. The old paradigm saw you as the anxious builder. You were worried about materials, about deadlines, about the stability of the foundation. You were down in the trenches, trying to stack bricks of effort and mortar of positive thought, terrified that the whole structure would collapse if you stopped pushing. This was the life of the pawn, the seeker, the finite manifester. But the moment the future self made its observation, your identity shifted. You are no longer the builder. You are the sovereign architect. The builder's job is hard, manual labor, governed by finite rules and constant friction. The architect's job is one of pure declaration, vision, and command. The architect doesn't worry about the raw materials. They trust the field, the universe, to perfectly supply everything necessary to execute the vision. They don't fret over the foundation. They know the blueprint is perfect and the structure is already secured. The builder operates from lack. I need to get this done. The architect operates from wholeness. This is already done. Now I simply issue the command for execution. The difference is a quantum leap in frequency. Your task is no longer to build reality, but to simply look at the blueprint and command the resources to align with the finalized design. The old way of manifesting was based on a fundamental misreading of the quantum field. You were taught that your desire collapses the wave. But desire, when rooted in the consciousness of the anxious builder, is always rooted in the frequency of lack. Lack is a low-energy, incoherent signal. When you broadcast a frequency of, I want this because I do not have it, the quantum field, which is the perfect mirror, reflects back only the lack. You are collapsing the wave, yes, but you were collapsing it into a particle of wanting, which only perpetuates the cycle of seeking. Now, because you have been observed and established as the sovereign architect, the power dynamics are reversed. Your command does not come from lack. It comes from the absolute certainty of the finalized blueprint. Your voice is no longer the whine of a seeker. It is the resonant declaration of the commander. This shift, from the energy of "I want to create this" to the frequency of "this is the established reality, and I command the field to reflect it," is the core of your new power. The universe does not respond to effort. It responds to coherence. And the only truly coherent signal is the one that broadcasts certainty, which is the exact signal your future self is sending to you now. This is the ultimate invitation. You have been observed. Your perfected self has been located and secured. Your blueprint is flawless. It is now time to drop the tools of the anxious builder. Stop the striving. Stop the pushing. It is now time to command your quantum field. The frequency of your command must be absolute. The language of your declaration must be entirely free of the obsolete data of lack and doubt. This is not about visualization. This is about vibrational sovereignty. This is about issuing the one perfect command that instantly locks the field into place. If this revelation, that your seeking days are over and your command is now sovereign, lands in your body with a deep, resonant yes. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel now. This is not just clicking a button. It is a quantum declaration that you are accepting your new role as the sovereign architect. It anchors the command for the entire collective. We move now from the metaphysics of observation to the actionable physics of command. To command your quantum field is not an act of aggression or force. It is an act of perfect resonance. The quantum field is passive. It is an infinite reservoir of energy and potential. It doesn't need to be forced. It only needs to be coherently instructed. The instruction must originate from a place of 0 point. The 0 point field, in physics, is the lowest possible energy state of the universe, yet paradoxically contains the greatest density of energy. In consciousness, your 0 point is the state of absolute neutrality, total coherence, and deep, unshakable certainty. It is the state of the sovereign architect, calm amidst the chaos, because the blueprint is already flawless. Your command, issued from this 0 point, is a 0 point declaration. It is a powerful, non-negotiable instruction that operates entirely outside the friction of lack. To execute this, we use the 3-part command protocol. Command 1. The resonance lock. Identify your signature frequency. Before you can command the field, you must know the tone of the command. This is not about the words you use. It is the vibrational signature of the outcome. The first error of the anxious builder was to focus on the object of desire. For example, I want the new job. The focus on the object keeps you in lack. The sovereign architect focuses only on the resonance of the state achieved. For example, the profound security and freedom that job provides. The resonance lock requires you to close your eyes, find your frequency anchor, the one word that defines your victory, as established in the prior transmission. Freedom, certainty, provision, power, and lock that frequency into your nervous system. This is not a fleeting emotion. It is a physiological state. 1. How does your chest feel when the victory is absolutely secured? Expanded, light, open. 2. What is the rhythm of your breath when provision is guaranteed? Slow, deep, effortless. 3. What is the posture of your spine when you are operating from total sovereignty? Straight, grounded, powerful. The resonance lock is the act of consciously inhabiting the physiological state of the finalized outcome. It is a declaration made by the body, not the mind. If the body is vibrating at the frequency of security, the field instantly recognizes that you are operating from the secured reality. The body becomes the command. You are not asking the universe for security. You are broadcasting the reality of security from your cellular structure. Lock the resonance. Command 2. The frequency override. Deconstruct the obsolete data. Once the resonance lock is established, the command is challenged by the inevitable appearance of the obsolete data. The ghost thoughts, the old doubts, the echoes of past failures. These are the last, sputtering attempts of the collapsed timelines to reassert themselves. The anxious builder fought these thoughts. The sovereign architect executes a frequency override. The override is an act of sovereign declaration that strips the obsolete data of its power by instantly relabeling it and replacing it with the resonant frequency. When a thought of lack appears, for example, "I don't have enough money or time or support," you do not argue with it. You do not try to think a positive thought. You simply declare, "Frequency override, this is not my reality. My reality is your resonance anchor, for example, certainty, provision." Execute. You are using the certainty of the locked frequency to instantly dissolve the incoherent noise. The thought is not destroyed. It is simply rendered non-resonant and powerless. It loses its gravity. This is the key. The command is not the thought. The command is the replacement frequency. The override is the realization that your sovereign choice of frequency is the highest law in your quantum field. Nothing can exist within your field that does not resonate with your dominant, declared frequency. When you execute the override, you are not just thinking a new thought. You are changing the fundamental energetic law governing your reality in that moment. Command 3. The event horizon. Act of irreversible certainty. The final command is the one that sets the process into irreversible motion. This is the moment where the internal declaration meets the external world. This is the act of irreversible certainty. The event horizon is reached when you take an action, no matter how small, that can only be justified by the secure reality of your command. The anxious builder would wait for the evidence to appear before taking the action. The sovereign architect acts first, knowing that the action itself forces the evidence to manifest. If your command is for profound abundance, the event horizon action is to make a generous donation or an investment of time or energy or money that only a person of profound abundance would make. If your command is for perfect health, the event horizon action is to cancel an appointment or remove a toxic element from your life that only a perfectly healthy person would have the authority to remove. The action is not for the outcome. The action is from the outcome. The action must be illogical to the anxious builder and entirely inevitable to the sovereign architect. It is the physical manifestation of your zero-point declaration. Once this action is taken, the command is broadcast so coherently, so powerfully, that the entire quantum field begins the process of rearranging every particle to support it. This is the event horizon, the point of no return. Once you step across this line of irreversible certainty, the universe has no choice but to follow. The command is active. You have been observed. You are the architect. You now have the protocol for command. Your era of forcing is over. Your time of effortless, resonant declaration has begun. The command protocol is not a one-time ritual. It is the establishment of a new operating system for your life. And once the zero-point declaration is consistently broadcast, the evidence of your field's sovereignty appears rapidly. The universe does not reward your effort. It rewards your certainty. The evidence of sovereignty is not always dramatic, but it is always precise. It is the immediate feedback loop of a field that is now perfectly attuned to your command frequency. Evidence 1. The dissolution of resistance. In the old paradigm of the anxious builder, every step required friction. You had to push, strive, convince, and argue. You were constantly moving against a heavy, unseen force. This force was the misalignment between your conscious desire and the deep-seated lack in your subconsciousness. In the new paradigm of the sovereign architect, you will notice an increasing effortlessness in your life. Resistance does not disappear because you fought it. Resistance dissolves because you are no longer generating the opposing frequency. The right connection appears instantly. The resources you commanded materialize without struggle. The solution to a long-standing problem simply occurs to you, fully formed, with no internal debate. This is not luck. This is the field executing your instruction. The path of least resistance becomes the path of zero resistance. When you notice a profound sense of easy flow or a task taking 10 minutes that used to take 10 hours, this is your undeniable evidence. The field has received and is executing the command. Evidence 2. The command feedback loop. Your command is now so potent that you will notice an immediate and disproportionate feedback to any thought or emotion you entertain. In the old reality, you could hold a negative thought for a week and see no immediate result. The universe, in its compassion, gave you a long delay. Now, as the sovereign architect, the feedback loop is instantaneous. If you allow yourself a moment of obsolete data, doubt, fear, lack, you will receive an immediate, small, tangible reflection of that frequency, a canceled appointment, a tiny financial setback, a moment of confusion. The universe is instantly correcting your broadcast. This is not punishment. It is the perfection of your field's obedience. It is a crystal clear signal. Attention, Commander. Your current emission is off frequency. Correct the broadcast. This immediate feedback is your greatest tool. It teaches you to master the frequency override with precision, because the consequence of incoherence is instantaneous. You are now commanding with a hair trigger. Evidence 3. The illogical necessity. The final, most profound evidence of your field sovereignty is the appearance of a logical necessity. You will find yourself drawn to actions, places, or people that make no logical sense to your old linear mind, yet feel absolutely, undeniably necessary to your core being. You might feel a sudden, irresistible urge to fly to a distant city, quit a stable income stream, or start a project that seems entirely unmarketable. The anxious builder would demand a spreadsheet, a guaranteed return, and a logical justification. The sovereign architect understands that these impulses are not whims. They are navigational directives sent from your future self, the one who has the full blueprint. These directives are the next steps in the perfect execution of the command. They are illogical because they bypass linear cause and effect. They are necessary because they are the precise physical movements required to align your current reality with the finalized, secured outcome. Your job is not to understand the necessity. Your job is to obey the illogical necessity with absolute faith. This is the highest expression of command, trusting the intelligence of the field to guide its own execution. The final command, collective sovereignty. You have executed the protocol. You have mastered the command. You are the sovereign architect of your field. But as the first transmission concluded, your individual victory was never the final destination. It was the qualification for a new, powerful role. A single field, perfectly commanded and stabilized, acts as a global resonator. Just as a single note played perfectly can cause the glass next to it to shatter, a single consciousness stabilized in zero-point certainty instantly impacts the fields entangled with it. Your personal command for abundance, freedom, and coherence does not stay localized. It instantly broadcasts this new, high-power frequency to the collective consciousness. You become a node of stability. When others approach your field, their own obsolete data suddenly begins to dissolve, simply because they are in the presence of a perfectly coherent broadcast. The next great phase of this evolution is moving from individual sovereignty to collective resonance. Understanding how your personal command becomes the new, governing law for the world around you. This is the ultimate, final application of your power. The universe has observed you. You have been chosen for this role. You are no longer asking for reality to change. You are commanding it. Hold your anchor word. Lock your resonance. And issue your zero-point declaration for the collective field. Your command is the new law.